What's happening, everybody? I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. Here's a story you have to hear it in order to believe it. At one time, former NFL great Herschel Walker was the darling of the Republican Party. The MAGAites were singing his praises. Since his failed campaign to become a United States Senator, he has millions of unspent dollars. And the GOP is upset and they're irked. Why? Because Herschel Walker will not give them the unspent campaign cheddar, cheese, cash, money. According to Politico Politics, Republicans are irked that Herschel Walker is sitting on millions in unspent campaign funds. They say his money could go a long way to help the GOP. Few are clamoring for Herschel Walker's return to politics since he flawed out in his Georgia Senate bid nearly 2 years ago, but they sure are interested in his campaign cash. Georgia and national Republicans in dire need of money are furious that Walker is sitting on more than $4 million in leftover campaign funds and seems to have no intention of using it to help the GOP or Donald Trump in the key battleground state in November. With the Georgia Republican Party nearly broke and the Republican National Committee regularly getting outspent by its Democratic counterpart, Republicans say Walker's unspent millions could go a long way toward addressing the GOP's cash crunch. These resources were solicited and given to support his candidacy as a Georgia Republican, and unless he intends to use them again for his own candidacy, I sure hope the favor would be returned, said John Watson, a former Georgia State GOP chair. Georgia Republicans should be supported by those dollars in whatever legal fashion the campaign can. Since the political novice and former football star lost to Democratic Reverend Ralph Warnock in the high-profile race, he has all but disappeared from political circles. Walker had a glide path through the primary, but his campaign was dogged by multiple personal scandals revealing children born out of wedlock and concealed abortions that undercut his conservative values campaign pitch. He was consistently out-fundraised by Warnock, and his campaign strategy was undermined by Walker's interference. After the race, Walker eventually re-enrolled at the University of Georgia to finish his undergraduate degree, the same school where he won a Heisman Trophy as a junior decades ago. When reached by phone, Walker denied his seven-figure bank balance of unspent funds in his campaign account. It wasn't money left in my account. Everyone keeps saying that, Walker said. Asked to clarify what he meant, Walker quietly ended the call saying he was in the middle of writing a paper. He said, "We could talk about it sometime," but did not respond to multiple further increases, including most recently last week. A Georgia GOP strategist with knowledge of Walker's campaign said the unspent funds should be refunded to donors, shared with Republican committees, or used to help Trump in the 2024 contest. First of all, they don't get to tell Walker what he can do with unspent campaign cash. They don't do it to the white ones that lose. It's ironic that they demand him to just give them the money. It ain't gonna happen, I can tell you that now. Republicans are being outspent everywhere up and down the ballot, and there's a significant sum of resources just sitting there, said the strategist who was granted anonymity to discuss the issue. Of course, it could be supporting Trump, who did a ton for Herschel's campaign. Walker, a former NFL running back who entered the 2022 Georgia Senate race with Trump's support, ended his failed campaign with more than $5 million in the bank. He still had $4.3 million in his accounts as of the end of March, according to the latest financial disclosures filed to the Federal Election Commission. Walker did transfer $100,000 to the National Republican Senate Committee's legal recount fund and has given around $400,000 to various nonprofits and charities. But the bulk of his leftover campaign money is still in the bank. The FCC limits what campaign funds can be spent on. The money must be used for electioneering purposes, or a campaign or transfer it to another active committee. Thank you. Or Walker could donate it to charity. Walker and his treasurer remain stewards of the funds, and they can't transfer the money directly to Walker. But the campaign cash would be helpful for the GOP's bottom line. At this point in the 2020 election cycle, the Georgia Republican Party had $1.2 million cash on hand, now reports having less than half of that amount. It's also spending a significant portion, $1.9 million since the start of 2021, of its funds on legal fees for Republicans charged in Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis's election racketeering case, according to the latest financial disclosure forms. Georgia GOP Chair Josh McCoon, who fundraises for the state party, declined to discuss any personal conversations he may have had with Walker about the unspent campaign funds. This year, state Republicans are focused on the presidential race and maintaining their majorities in the state legislature, and one Georgia GOP strategist, Brian Robinson, said Walker's money would be used to help legislative candidates in competitive districts. That's all for now. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never.